everything's over, but you don't sit there and go, oh yeah, dude, same same stuff,
You told
different
me
day,
this,
right?
but yeah.
But so I said, okay, um, relationships are actually drive by interactions. They're little 3, 5, or 7 minute interactions. And so the app times you it randomly selects a 3, 5, or 7 minute time frame. It randomly selects who gives and who receives, because there again, the winner in the app is a relationship, not an individual. It's not a competition.
Right.
It's a collaboration. So like there's a list of activities then that are randomly selected. So in the list of intimate, there might be back rub. Well, if you're the one who initiates and you walk up to your boyfriend and go, okay, I'm going to start this, and it lands on back rub, and you think, aha, I win a back rub from you, but no, you end up having to be the giver and you have to give him the back rub.
Right.
You have not lost in that situation because it's the contact, it's the connection, it's the bond. So it's very much, again, another analogy is working out. If you work out once a week for an hour and a half and that's all you do, you're not working out, because the other 6 days, you're losing anything that you gained in that hour and a half. By the same token, you're not going to work out an hour and a half every day. That's really excessive unless that's what you're working towards. So relationships are no different. In order to keep your relationship muscles tuned and healthy and fit, 3, 5, or 7 minutes every day or every other day at the least, you need to interact in a real way.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you another story. I'm full of stories. I'm dating a different girl this time, and she was washing the dishes. I walk up behind her. I want to cuddle. I want to hug. She gets pissed. I've got a knife in my hand. And it's like, okay, I'm shocked. I'm like, but I want, quality time together. And I didn't know how to react or what to do. And of course, then you take it personally. And you're like, wow, this person really doesn't want to spend time with me, I guess, or, I really have to be very careful. And I realized, so what was going on is she didn't know what was happening. She thought I was going to stop her from doing what she wanted to do. She thought it was going to turn into something much different because they were like, oh, it's going to turn into sex. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to be a little crass. I hope your audience doesn't mind, but if 3, 5, or 7 minutes of the game is sexual to you, you're doing sex wrong. Yeah. I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah.
You need guidance in it for something else. These are intimate little bonds on how you connect with each other.
Yeah.
And so if I had walked up to her with the game in hand and said, look, 3, 5, or 7 minutes, I'm only going to take you away from washing dishes. Yeah. And it's going to be limited to what's on the list. So it's not going to turn into anything. The timer is going to go off and we're going to be done. And you're going to go right back to doing what you're doing. And I'm going to go right back to doing what I was doing. And we're both going to feel connected. Another story. But so this woman who was playing the game and she got into it, she had a bunch of stories. So she's really, really good for stories. But one of her stories was, it was Thanksgiving and she and her husband are making dinner for the family. And her 10-year-old stepson comes into the kitchen and says, hey, I want to play a game. What's her instant reaction? We're too busy.
Yeah,
dude,
don't have time.
We're making dinner. We don't have time now. She stopped and thought about the game. And she said, no, Jerry's philosophy is life happens 3, 5, or 7 minutes at a time. I can spare. So she puts on the kitchen timer 10 minutes. Makes up a game. It's not a formal game. Again, it doesn't have to be anything formal at all. She makes up this game with him. And at the end of 10 minutes, when the timer goes off, he is thoroughly happy with the fact that they connected. But think about what would have happened if she had said no. It's not just, oh, well, we'll get together later. No, you've shut down a connection there.
Yeah.
You don't realize the damage you've done with that not now, later.
Right.
And so The same thing. I mean, with that, obviously, I'm not dating that girl anymore because, hey, she doesn't like it. But if I cuddle up to her when she's washing dishes, I'm just saying, it's like, but I admit, I understand. She didn't understand. And had we had this game then, I think it would have turned out very differently
Yeah.
because it would have been, hey, I'm not trying to stop you from doing what you're doing. I'm just trying to get a cuddling
Yeah, I'm
or
just trying
whatever
to connect.
happens.
And, I remember reading a story about, I don't remember, but the woman was talking about how she was leaving the house. She was getting ready to go somewhere, some business event or something. And she was dressed up and ready to go. And the babysitter was there with the kids. And one of her kids was like, mommy, play with me for a minute or play with me. And, she's running late. She's already out the door, but she made the decision in that moment to play with the child. And there was something, I can't remember exactly how she worded it, but it was something like, usually it's only just a few minutes of attention anyway. Yes. And then the person goes off to do whatever they want to do. And so that reminded me when I was looking at the app and I was playing with it, and I was in being able to have those small few minutes, even if it's just a few minutes, those impactful moments that we think are so don't matter, or they're, yeah. And they are completely significant when we start to pay attention to them and have that willingness to not be so focused on the task at hand. Because, and I know, again, this seems like cliche, but the dishes will wait. Yes. And everybody gets, we know that or whatever. We know it, but we don't actually take it past that to the dishes will wait so I can go have this connection with this person that I love, or the dishes will wait so I can go have this connection and spend a few minutes with this, whoever it is, partner, child, whatever, whoever it is. And that relationships are built in those small moments that we don't often stop to think about.
Oh, and that's just it. We're wasting so much time when we could be connecting. But there again, the whole thing of the app is it limits you to the 3, 5, and 7 minutes. So I understand there's that uncertainty. It's like I said, the people who come into my office and talk for an hour and a half, I'm okay with it, but it would be nice if it was limited. And so, and also because I know, see, nowadays, I say nowadays, really, it's been always this way, right? That's what I'm saying. It's always been this way, but it's getting worse. Because we are actively trying to find answers, but we're using tools like social media and computers in the wrong way. It's a tool. If you've got a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So, but the thing is, people don't know how to socially interact. Well, by creating a list, I'm actually telling you these are things that you can and things that are not on the list are things you cannot do, right? So it's like, again, I don't have anything on the list that's salacious. I have 4 lists because there are 4 types of major relationships. Friendship, has certain things, but not things that an intimate relationship will have. Business relationship has certain things, and a family relationship. So depending on the list you're using, it is appropriate for the style of relationship that you're in. And it keeps you, again, to 3, 5, 7 minutes. You don't know who's going to give, who's going to receive. So there's that kind of added spontaneity and fun. But okay, so here's the fun part too. Okay. People have, and they're so funny to me because they're like, oh, Jerry, I know I took your game, but I changed it. Okay. What'd you do? Well, when the timer went off, we weren't done talking. So we continued talking. Do you understand that the whole point of the game is a connection? You didn't break my game. You actually took it further, which is great. Exactly. Or this other the girl was telling me, she's like, oh, Jerry, this is another funny story. She's like, Jerry, my boyfriend's sister was coming into town. She's like, I've never met this girl, didn't know what to do. So she said, you had told me about your game. So I said, let's download the game and start playing. She said, the first question to the sister, or the boyfriend's sister, was, tell me about your most embarrassing moment. She said, Jerry, here's a girl I've never met in my life going into detail about her most embarrassing moment and going on and on and on. And she said, well, but Jerry, at the end, I decided I'd tell her mine, even though the game was like for her to tell. I said, yeah, that's the point. It's a connection. It's a bond. Don't think that you have to stop at X minutes, and don't think that the person giving is the only one who can give. it's a door opener, and it
Yes.
really makes that difference of getting people involved. Now, here's another thing that people have missed, and this is my fault. I'm working on this to make it more clear. The game is such that you can actually create your own social circles. So you can create like siblings, or your mother's group, if you're a mother, or your whatever your business group, and you can actually create your own lists. Because again, I don't pretend to know you and your relationship or how you should interact. So don't rely on me. What I'm hoping is for people to start contributing their own interactions. And I'm hoping for us to create a community and have lists from all sorts of people of how they interact in their relationships, so that we can then share. So don't look to me and be like, other,
right? Yeah.
Exactly. Learn from each other. Don't look to me as if I'm going to know everything. I don't claim to.
Right.
I'm not the guy holding conventional wisdom thinking I'm holier than thou, smarter than you.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
I've given you a platform, and I want you to take this platform, start playing it with friends, family, intimate, whomever, and then start saying, oh, but we want to do this. Or when we're out at this venue, we want to do this, these things. Great. Create your social circle, create your list of activities, and play that then.
Yeah.
And then share it so that other people can go, oh, I've never thought of that. God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that with my significant other. And so I want to build this community of people who really share how they interact, because we can all learn to interact better from each other.
Totally agree. Jerry, this has been an amazing conversation. I love how you're busting through this conventional, this wisdom, this outdated, antiquated way of looking at our relationships. And I just love this conversation. Let's tell the listeners how they can find out more about you, the book, and the app.
Well, I would say the easiest way is my website is goodtogether.com, GOODTOGETHER, Good Together. So if you go to Good Together, you'll find the book there. You'll find that you can download the app. The app is free for now. At some point, once we get enough people and there's enough activity, we will have to, probably do a subscription so that we can keep the app alive,
right,
and keep adding to the app. But right now, it's like, be one of the first people, download it, play with it, give me feedback. I honestly, I want to hear what you have to say. I've gotten some really good feedback from people about, oh, you need to add this or you need to do that. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome, because this is what I want and this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say the easiest thing is Good Together. And from there, you have my social links on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And there's also jerrybrook.com if you want to go there.
Okay.
There's a lot of different play ways. You can even just Google Jerry Brook or Good Together. And right now I'm pretty high up on the list.
Awesome.
For you to find me.
Awesome. Well, I'll put those links in the show notes. And again, Jerry, I want to thank you. This has been an amazing conversation and really life-changing about relationships. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. And like I said, I hope you have me back again. We can continue
I know we got
this conversation. There's so much to it.
I agree.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Create What You Speak podcast, brought to you by webtalkradio.net. You can also hear the podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and your favorite podcasting platform. I'm Sloan Fremont, and I hope you'll join me for the next episode of the Create What You Speak podcast, where we will continue to free our minds, expand our consciousness, and untangle those thoughts and patterns that keep us from living the life we desire. Check out my website, sloanfremont.com, to learn more.